Hi, let me get comfy. This is all new for me. Welcome to... If you don't know me, hi, I'm Lexy. I am also known as Magic Aura on TikTok. I'm just a small southern gal who loves Disney and Marvel and Star Wars. I'm a really big nerd. But what I don't really showcase on social media a lot, which I love way more than all of my nerd things, is I love Jesus. I have been really just been wanting to share him with you guys, and I did not know how I was gonna do that. God is not in the Disney community. Like, we kind of all know that. Like, you can't find him anywhere. And so he laid it on my heart and he said, that is exactly it. Put me in it. So this is what this is. This is literally insane right now. The way he told me that I should do this is, and you're probably thinking, like, how did God tell you? I've been praying for about, oh my gosh, I don't need to have runny mascara. I need to look like a baddie right now. It's my first podcast episode. But the way he told me that he wanted me to do this, I'd been praying about it for months, and I was like, God, how do I combine you with Disney? And how am I gonna, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you're not in any movies, you're not in any Marvel franchise, you're not in any Star Wars universe. How am I supposed to do this? And he was like, pick a movie, pick a show, pick a character, whatever you want to do, and tell that story. So, I'm going to tell that story. And so, for the first episode of Faith, Trust, and Jesus, that just sounds so cute. I love it. Literally, I was getting ready and I was like, God, I don't know what I'm going to call this thing. Like, I kind of have an idea, but it just wasn't flowing right. And I was like, God, what am I supposed to call it? Like, tell me what to call it. And it just popped in my head, Faith, Trust, and Jesus. Like, that is just so good. So, yeah. First episode is going to be about the one and only Miss Cinderella. I'm really nervous if you can't tell. All right, let's get cozy. Just sit back, chill. I kind of wanted this to be comfortable. I wanted to put like Disney stuff behind me, but I was like, you know what? Disney's already its own thing. Let's let this area kind of be for the holy, 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 you know? I do have my little Funko Pop Peter Pan. Might start like switching them out because this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to see what God has in store for this. I think you guys all know who Cinderella is. She's got her own castle in Disney World. We all know the story. She was one of my top 3 favorite princesses when I was growing up. If you don't know Cinderella, let's just do a little bit of a recap. She lives with her evil stepmother and her 2 stepsisters. And they are cruel to Miss Cinderella. Unfortunately, her father passed away, so she is stuck living with them, and evil stepmother just makes her clean up all day. She is doing chores, and she is on a no-paying salary, taking care of the evil cat, and the only people that she has in her life are these 2 little mice. She don't even be talking to Jesus. Like, they could have put Jesus in the movie so she could talk to him, but she'd be talking to mice. They said, no, we're going to give her mice to talk to. Shout out to Gus, Guts, and Jacques. Okay? Those are her little friends, and they are her homies. So they all hear news that there is going to be a ball that the prince is throwing. Cinderella is like, oh my God, I get to go to the ball. We all know how that goes. They tear up her dress. Evil stepmother's like, no, you can't go to the ball. What were you thinking? And she had her dream ripped away from her. They go to the ball. Cinderella's thinking she's not going to the ball. She gets a little visit from the fairy godmother. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Let's just take a little step back. Have you ever worked so hard for something? Because she was working hard doing them chores, okay? Have you ever worked so hard for something and it just get ripped away from you? Like, they ripped her dress up. She got what we all wish we got, which is a fairy godmother, and fairy godmother hooked her up. So fairy godmother shows up, does her little bibbidi bobbidi boo, and she turns her from rags to riches, puts her in this gorgeous dress, turns her mice into horses, turns a pumpkin into a carriage, and of course gives her glass slippers. Long story short, we all know Cinderella gets her foot in that glass slipper. You know, they all live happily ever after. She is now looking all put together. She went from her rags to her riches. She probably could have never showed up at the castle looking like the way she did before, like, because she was not all put together. And now she's all put together because of fairy godmother. I mean, I know that would be nice to have a fairy godmother to make me look all put together. But you're like, Lexy, how can I relate to Cinderella? Because I do not live in a castle. I'm not married to a prince. I do not have the prettiest ball gown or the newest sambas or the newest Stanley or the shiniest hair, or my body's not where I want it to be, or I'm not perfect, or I'm not there yet, or I'm not where I want to be at in life. I'm not all that yet. I'm not all put together, okay? That's the whole point here. We're not all put together. Obviously, we're not perfect. Well, guess what, babe? You don't need the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo for Jesus to love you. Say that again. You don't need the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo for Jesus to love you. You may not live in a castle. You might sleep next to the ashes and be called Cinderella. You wear tore up clothes. But Jesus says, hey, that is enough. Matter of fact, you are enough. You don't even need that, okay? You are just enough for him. You don't need a Cinderella lifestyle to be happy. You just need Jesus. Just like how Cinderella left her glass slipper for the prince to find, God gave his son, Jesus, so you could find him and you could live. God gave his son Jesus so that you could live. Jesus is your glass slipper. You don't need to have a fairy godmother when you have the God. Stop thinking that you aren't enough, that you can't achieve your dreams, that you don't matter, that you aren't loved, that you don't have the coolest clothes. When you have Jesus, you have what those things could never give you. You have joy, you have indescribable peace, you have comfort, you have love, you have so much more. You have a friend in Jesus. You won't need Gus, and Jacques, okay? You won't need mice to be your friend. You will have Jesus. When you think of the story Cinderella, you can think, hey, I am living a Cinderella story. Jesus is my glass slipper, and he promised me my happily ever after in heaven. He has my castle waiting for me there. Everything doesn't have to be perfect for God to love you. You don't need the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo for Jesus to love you. God said, no, you don't need the Stanley Cup. I love you without the glass slipper. Psalm 19, 7-8 says, the law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. Precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving the light to the eyes. Now, when you think of the story Cinderella, you can think, hey, Jesus is my glass slipper, loved me before the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. I don't have to be perfect, and I don't have to be all put together for me to get my happily ever after. Jesus is going to give you your happily ever after. I just do not see Jesus in the Disney community, and it's about time he gets in there, because I am the biggest nerd, and I think we all idolize these movies and these characters so much, and I thought it was time that we put the spotlight on God. And I'm kind of scared, y'all. I'm kind of scared. Kind of being vulnerable, and I hope you guys like it. I just know you don't really see God in the Disney space, but he is now. So that is it for episode 1 of Faith, Trust, and Jesus. I will see you guys on the next episode. See you guys later. Bye.
Telling your head things that are not true. What would God say?